everyone. Welcome to the Art of Engineering Efficiency. In this episode, we will see what are the key essential factors in exploring phase of a software engineer's career. In our previous episodes, we have seen foundation phase and improvement phase. What is the role of a software engineer in those two phases? And now we are going to dive into the exploring phase where a software engineer becomes much senior as a technical leader or an engineering manager who takes the responsibility to architect, innovate, bring in new technology trends, and lead the technical teams. Apart from this, the key responsibilities are to carry the DNA, to think beyond the code, empowering the technology and people together. So let's see what are the essential elements of the technology. First one is KPI. Key performance indicator. In many of the development teams, as a technology leader, we keep monitoring few metrics which define the quality of the software which is developed and delivered. So let's see why the KPIs are essential, because apart from the product development, the KPIs set the target expectations for the product improvements in the coming phases. So let's see how KPIs impact or how they set the standard. Start with the first KPI, quality. We measure the quality of a product by the number of defects raised for the respective release and the code quality. How we measure the quality by the bucket. There are few cases where developers may miss to test few edge case scenarios which are not easily reproducible in the given environments, but there are few bugs or defects which can be identified very easily, or the defects which act as a blockers of a specific product journey. So these kind of defects define the basic quality of the product. Focusing on this will reduce the defects which directly impacts the quality of the product which is delivered by the development team. As a technology leader, we need to come up with a set of standards enforced in the development team, like dev testing should be properly done on meeting the basic needs or satisfying the acceptance criteria or requirements mentioned in the user story. Without proper dev testing, dev team shouldn't be allowed to proceed to raise PRs. This kind of strict standards in place, the dev team itself can identify the or can stop the bugs released to the next phase which are easily identifiable. Apart from this, when the defects are raised, how the development team is responding. What is the turnaround time of a defect? So the moment a defect is reported to development team till the defect is resolved, we call it as a turnaround time. The defect should be prioritized and given to the development team so that they can fix much prioritized defects like critical to medium, try to find the right RCA, released to the testing team. This is what a defect rate when it comes to the quality, and as a technology leader, we need to enforce these strict guidelines to keep the defect rate under control. And next comes in the code quality also impacts the quality of the product. We need to monitor time to time what is the code coverage that is getting pushed or committed in each and every PR. And we also need to see what is the PR turnaround time. Once a developer raises a PR, what is the time that is taken by the team members to review the code and give their feedback? And when it comes to the review process, we need to set up a prerequisite self-checklist for the developers. They need to go through the complete checklist and review it by themselves before raising the PR to their team members. So this will avoid unnecessary time waste, like finding the simple mistakes or which can be easily found when we self-review, and we can get it fixed in the early phase of the review itself, so that other team members no need to spend time to review the same mistakes. Instead, they can focus on improving the efficiency of the code, or if there are unit tests to be added to improve the quality of the code, they can focus on that and give the valuable feedback and PR comments. When it comes to the PR review, we need to monitor how much time is actually a person is taking to review. That we need to monitor so that we can set a standard time. Once a PR is raised, the involvement of the team members should be encouraged so that they can collectively move their work to meet the deliverables. As part of this, we need to encourage every team member to take the ownership of individual elements in the code quality, like code coverage, unit tests, code smells, or code violations. Each and every team member should take one item as a ownership, and they can keep monitoring violations in these aspects, so that it encourages their accountability and responsibility in those areas. And next in the KPI comes in the delivery rate. What I feel is the team velocity. It is always recommended that we need to make sure the team should not overcommit in a respective sprint or a time frame. How we can make sure? We need to enforce the team presence or active participation in the sprint grooming and planning sessions. So this will enable the team to properly estimate the work that they are going to pick up in coming days and deliver. During this sprint grooming and planning sessions, it is highly recommended that each of the team members should participate in reviewing the complete description or requirements of the respective user story and highlight if there are any blockers or challenges upfront, so that it won't block the development or it will avoid the unnecessary spillovers which would impact the team velocity. Apart from that, we also need to take care if there are any dependencies that would raise the challenge in coming days during the development. We need to make sure the respective team where our team is dependent on, or if some other team is dependent on our team during the development phase, we need to have their presence in the sprint grooming or planning sessions, understand and set the expectations, come to an agreement and document the requirements or responsibilities of the each team, so that it will help us in coming days during the testing or release phases. It will help to resolve unnecessary conflicts between teams, and they can easily find who are responsible if there is any issue coming from any system. So always make sure the teams are actively participating in sprint grooming and planning sessions, and don't let overcommit. So that is about the team velocity. And next thing is about the deployments. As soon as the development is completed, it should be moved to the next phase, that is testing phase. So this will make sure the next team is having the builds or product ready to execute their action items to meet the deliverables in time. Apart from that, we also need to monitor, are there any particular aspects that is impacting the delivery rate? I mean, once the testing phase starts and the defects coming in, how frequently the dev team is promoting the builds to testing team, what is the time frame it is taking. Like we discussed earlier, we need to set standards in the development team about the PR reviews to reduce the turnaround time between the deployment phases. And if the infrastructure of the CI/CD pipelines is not up to the mark, or if it is something overloaded, that we need to make sure it is properly balanced by allocating scheduled builds to avoid repetitive tasks which are scheduled by various team members, which will overload Jenkins pipelines. By setting and monitoring these things in place will ensure the deployment rate is under control. And the next thing comes in the KPIs is NFRs, non-functional requirements. Mostly NFRs may not be part of usual product development. They are the aspects that are not visible to a developer, but something which impacts the user experience. In that, first comes in the performance. There are various places that we need to measure the performance. Maybe a backend systems, like when the system received thousands of requests at a time, how the load is balanced, or if the requests are coming beyond the limit, how our systems are handling. Or is there any way to mitigate it, or is there an efficient way that we can increase the number of requests in the load? So that is about the backend system. Apart from backend systems, we also need to see how whichever system is accessing our backend systems, the turnaround time between the request and response. That means when a user is accessing any feature of our application, how efficiently our systems are processing the request and responding to the user's input. For example, if we take a look at any e-commerce application, maybe searching for a particular kind of product under a category, and when they query the search input, our backend system receives the search request, and it may need to process huge number of records to find the relevant items for that request and respond to the user. This may take, for example, like 5 seconds. So the 5 seconds becomes the initial benchmark for search operation. In the same way, once user receives the response, how much time it takes to display or process the data at the customer facing application. That is also should be tracked either by using any analytics kind of logs. We can keep track of them and set them as benchmark for the initial phase. And later, we will take those benchmark metrics to analyze and see improvement can be done to reduce the time, for example, fetch operation, as part of our technical debt activities. So next thing in the KPI is security. As a technology leader, we need to see are there any security vulnerabilities or any gaps in the data storage or encryption where API plays the major role. In majority of the companies, customer-centric data is treated as highly sensitive. It should be protected in such a way that it shouldn't be easily accessible by any middleman. So how usually any organization takes care of that customer-centric data? How they protect it is by applying various encryption mechanisms on the data like AES, 3DS or custom encryption mechanisms which are specific to the organizations. By having these encryption techniques in place, the organizations protect the customer-centric data. If we are building a product, we need to make sure the APIs where the request is carrying the customer-specific data to our backend system should follow the encryption mechanisms in place. Even a middleman attack happens, they only have a raw data which is no use for them. These are the key areas should be taken care as part of the security layer when it comes to the development. So far we have seen the topics under KPIs like quality rate, defect rate and NFRs. So while reviewing them, we also discuss what are the improvements we need to capture the benchmark metric in each and every phase, which will help us define the roadmap for the development team for the improvements in the efficiency of the product using the technical debt. If we see 10 improvement areas during our review in the KPIs, we analyze and prioritize them to take in order in coming releases. We need to plan in such a way that which will not impact the current release and also improve the efficiency of the product. This is how plan the improvements in the name of technical debts for the development. The last thing under technology is initiatives. Initiatives often plays major role in certain conditions. They promote innovation or bringing in the new technology in the industry. For example, if we look at the current trend, AI code assistant is more popular. As a technology leader, when we see something like we can propose it as an initiative and either we can work on it directly or we can nominate someone from the team members to take up and work on the initiative, which will showcase the importance how this new technology trend will boost our efficiency and productivity in our development team. Along with that, how it helps to reach the organizational goals as well. These are the initiatives that as a technology leader we always keep an eye on, and we need to encourage the team member to be part of the initiatives and take the ownership and be accountable. This will also help the team members learning curve, curiosity, contributions to the innovation, new technology trends, which will boost their self-confidence, motivates them in such a way that the contributions will benefit the team and organization. So far we have covered the key elements of the technology stack that should be taken care as a technology leader. So what do we achieve by doing all this is team's excellence in technology. This will enable the continuous learning which will benefit the team and organization as well. Next, we'll see the key people management guidelines for technology leader. As we discussed many points under technology stack which will benefit the team members by improving their technical skill, promotes their growth. Apart from that, it is equally important to protect, mentor and recognize the team members. Let's see why it is necessary and how it will benefit the people. So for example, during the development phase, maybe at certain point of time, the business may come with a quick requirement saying they need an additional feature to be built for the coming release in a short period of time, which is technically not possible, but they enforce the team to do it. As a technology leader, what is our role here is we need to stand in between the business team and technical team, explain the challenges. Even if we deliver this product in short notice, testing team may not be able to accommodate in the testing phase, and even if we somehow delivers it, because we don't put enough efforts to validate the quality of the product, we cannot guarantee or compromise on the quality because of the rush or unrealistic demands from the stakeholders. We act as a protection layer between the business team and technology team. It also helps that we don't let our team burn out by accepting the unrealistic demand from the stakeholders. Sometimes there will be mistakes by development teams where the stakeholders or some other team members can directly blame our development team. That's where we need to pitch in and take the responsibility of the blame, give the freedom to the development team to learn from the mistakes, to think so that in future how they can avoid these mistakes, improve their learning curve and grow in their respective areas. Next thing is about mentoring plays a key role when it comes to people growth. As we have seen in our improvement phase, for a software engineer, it is very essential to frequently connect with their technology leaders or managers. It is not only the responsibility of the team member, it is also responsibility of a technology leader to make sure the team members get enough attention in terms of one-to-one meeting or frequent catch-ups. So this will enable them to open up and share their views, aspirations or challenges that they are facing in the development. So this will enable us to prepare the action items for them and set the short-term and long-term goals for their personal and career growth as well. During this one-to-one connects, we can also get familiar about the behavior of the other team members, strengths and weakness of them, so that we can have an improvement plan or feedback sessions for other team members as well. And the next one is about the recognition. As we all see, most of the organizations, the recognitions happens. It is also very much important that people should feel that they are valued for the work they contribute to the organization or the product development. Even a small achievement should be recognized in the team, either monthly or quarterly. Let the other team members know that the value being added by a team or a specific developer, so that it will boost their confidence to contribute, motivates them in the development area. What do we achieve by following key guideline in the people management is we achieve our team's trust. This empowers the team's collaboration, confidence and growth while fostering the culture that everyone enjoys being part of, benefiting both the team and the organization as well. So we have covered both technology stack and the people management guidelines. In summary, as a technology leader in software development, we need to consistently enhance the technical and people efficiencies, driving success for the team and aligning the organizational goals. That's all we have key elements in the exploring phase in a software engineer's career. In the next episode, we will go through the key elements of the influencing phase in a software engineer's career. Till then, stay tuned. Thank you for watching.